Hello, 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 beautiful people. Welcome back to an episode of the Semi Pro USL Show. It is great to be back. We had an awesome weekend across the lower divisions of the USL. And yes, we get it immediately into the chat. FC Tucson 19-0. We'll get into that in just a moment because there's a couple of things that I want to hit, but we will talk about all 19 goals that happened for FC Tucson. Um, and there is just a lot to get through. So I want to throw it out there again. So on Friday, this upcoming Friday, there may not be an episode because I am driving. I may not be able to have Wi-Fi, but if I can get some Wi-Fi and get a stable interconnection, we'll have a show on Friday. If you are a player, a club member, an owner, and you want a coach, if you want to talk a little bit of shop, 10-15 minute interview, don't be afraid to reach out to us. Like, please do. We're already getting a couple underway. There was a lot of news that kind of happened around the league, and I want to go ahead and start off with our Annapolis Blues, as I need to get the numbers correct here before I say something really stupid. But in League 2, they had over 12,853 people show up to watch them take on oh my gosh, who are they? The Christos. That one's a nice little Maryland derby. That one's a really fun one. But USL League 2 record, they are outdrawing a lot of League 1 champion and championship clubs. Not to be outdone, though, the women's club, they said this apparently is also a League 2 or a W League record of 7,289 people showed up for the Annapolis Blues W League squad. So that's a really interesting thing. I really thought that the Aurora had a higher attendance at one point, but maybe not. Maybe I'm completely misremembering. But the Annapolis Blues showing up, showing out. They get a win in both matches, and we'll break those down in a little bit. But it already got brought up in the chat. So I need to find my link. Yes. Let's talk about FC Tucson versus Coachella FC. I'm just going to throw it out there. Coachella can stick around as long as they want. If they're willing to roll the ball out there and keep paying the league fees, they are more than allowed to do what they are doing. But we have 19 goals. Coachella comes down to 4-4-2. The FC Tucson comes down to 4-3-3. Now, I told you guys last episode, be on the lookout for this one to be a blowout. I thought this one had the absolute makings of it to be a huge blowout. Okay. In the 5th minute, Alexis Ledo gets a goal. In the 10th minute, Justin Vanoff gets a goal. In the 15th minute, Juan Pablo Sanchez gets a goal. In the 17th minute, DeAndre James Pickett gets a goal. In the 20th minute, Jesse Wangusi gets a goal. By the way, all different goal scorers through the first 5. That's insane. We finally get our first repeat with Jesse Wangusi gets a goal in the 22nd. And he gets his hat trick in the 30th minute. And a hat trick +1. Is there a word for the hat trick +1? Or is it like a golden something? I don't know. But Jesse Wangusi gets his 4th. And then Alexis Ledo gets his brace in the 35th. Juan Pablo Sanchez gets his brace in the 44th. And Alexis Ledo gets his hat trick in the 45th. By the way, they end up making 4 substitutions at halftime. In the 47th, Hector Moreno gets his goal. In the 54th, hey, we get our hat trick. Juan Pablo Sanchez, congratulations. Hey, how about a brace, Hector Moreno? How about in the 60th minute? Here's your brace. How about your hat trick, Hector? In the 65th, Hector Moreno gets his hat trick +1 in the 74th. Juan Pablo Sanchez gets his 4th, his hat trick +1. Aaron Martinez Melendez, welcome to the score sheet, pal, in the 80th minute. And then Jose Luis Martin Montealegre, Montealegre in the 83rd minute. And that's how it ends. 19-0. From the former League One squad. Keep in mind, FC Tucson used to be in League One. And then they dropped down for financial reasons. But oh my gosh. And I feel like this is a good time to have this conversation because I've kind of thought about it in the back of my head. And hey, are you ready for clickbait? Are you ready to have the clickbait moment? Should there be pro rel and semi-professional soccer? Maybe. The bad teams in League One or the bad teams in League Two and the W League are like really bad. The discrepancy is so big that I think it's time for the USL to create something different to allow those teams who still want to professionally develop players. Don't forget what the League Two started as was the professional development league. This is the time to be professionally developing these players. But some of these players should not be on the same field as others. And this is not me saying everybody from Coachella is bad. They would kill me. Like I would be so bad if they put me on the field, it would probably be like 20-something to nothing. Even so, there needs to be a second level to this. The gap is too big. It is just way too big. Let me know what you think. Put it in our comments. Let me know. All right, so let's look at Annapolis Blues. We are still in League 2, by the way. Let me go ahead and put up that little graphic because I'm super good at my job. League 2 scores. Let's see. Like I said, Annapolis Blues over 12,000, almost 13,000 people show up for a nice little Maryland derby as they take on the Cristos, where Annapolis comes out in the 3-4-3 and the Cristos come out in the, say it with me, 4-3-3. It was a pretty cagey affair in the first half, but Ryan Belal gets his goal in the 65th, and then right before the final whistle, Brady Gale gets his goal in the 89th minute as the Annapolis Blues get a nice win, just a very nice win against a record in front of a record crowd. Kingshammer Sun City get a 2-1 win over Miami AC. By the way, I'm just going over a few of the interesting score lines that I saw. I'm not going over every single match from the weekend. That's too much. Kingshammer gets a 2-1 win as they get 2 quick goals in the first half. Francisco Ayeo gets his goal in the 34th. Meanwhile, Oliver Drost gets his goal in the 36th. But Ezekiel Emmanuel gets his goal for Miami AC in the 68th minute. FC Buffalo get a 2-1 win over Toledo Villa as Buffalo gets their goal in the 18th from Jacobo Abradors gets his goal in the 18th, and then Geese Veelings gets his goal for Toledo in the 44th. But the game winner comes from Luis Felipe Santos in the 74th minute for FC Buffalo. Where, hey, this is an interesting matchup where we have a 5-2-3 for FC Buffalo and a 3-5-2 for Toledo. So thank you for giving us something interesting in terms of tactics. We then go up to where Boston Bolts win 2-1 versus AC Connecticut. Both teams come out in a 4-3-3 cagey affair in the first half, but we end up getting Gianluca Armaino gets his goal in the 51st minute, but for AC Connecticut, but 2 goals, one by Fraser Brown or 2 by Fraser Brown, one the 72nd and the 88th minute. He is your game winner with the brace, getting both goals. Flint City Bucks gets a big win over Union FC Macomb. This is a huge win for Flint City over one of the best teams in the league right now in Union FC Macomb. Flint City gets the goal from Donovan Phillip So they come out in their Christmas tree formation, the 4-3-2-1, and I'm assuming that Macomb came out in a 4-3-3. However, the league only shows them playing with 10 players, which is fascinating. Um, we have Oakland County FC dropping points 2-3 against Northern Indiana FC, where Oakland takes a 2-0 win or 2-0 lead. Mateo Carrilla and then Justin Castell. They both get goals. One the 11th, one the 21st, and then it's 2-0 in the halftime. But Northern Indiana gets a goal from Benjamin Chaviera. And then Hakeem Morgan in the 74th is now tied 2-2. And then Hakeem Morgan gets the brace in the 86th minute. And that's how that one ends. Northern Indiana gets the 3-2 victory. In another nice little battle in the Chesapeake, Lionsbridge draw 2-2 with Nova, Northern Virginia, where Nova takes a 1-0 lead from Gage Lions and then takes a 2-2 lead from George Kaloff, maybe. But right after halftime in the 46th minute, Felix Avald gets his goal, and then right at the stroke of halftime, Samuel Hall, or stroke of the match, Samuel Hall in the 90th minute. So we had a 2-0 lead right after halftime, right before full time. Lionsbridge breaks the heart of Northern Virginia as Northern Virginia come out in the 3-4-1-2, and Lionsbridge comes out in the 3-5-2. Thank you for making it interesting. We have now the Hill County Lobos. They fall 5-3 to the Lone Star, where Lone Star take a 1-0 lead out of Theo Givens, and then a 2-0 lead from Sonny Guandarrama, or Juandarrama, one of the two, in the 42nd. But the Lobos get a goal back from Edwin Espinal, but in the literally 1 minute later, Sonny Guandarrama gets one in the 66th. Michael Kitalina gets a goal in the 76th minute, but in the 79th, Drake Fournier gets his goal. Diego Rocha gets his goal in the third, where it's now 5-2. And then right before the match ends, Raven Littles wins, gets a goal to make it 3-5. Let me see. We have another big goal score. I'm just going to give you score results on this one. McKinney Chupacabras loses 5-3 to Hattiesburg. Tennessee SC draw 3-3 to Montgomery United. Huge match down there in the South Central. This one's a big one. I'm going to give you the score line on this one. It is a 5-4 win for FC Olympia, where versus West Seattle Junction, as the Junction take a 2-0 lead in the first 13 minutes. Ian Mejia gets a goal, and then Jake Larson gets a goal, both in the top 13 minutes. And then Michael Devano gets a goal back for FC Olympia. And then it's tied again from Michael Devano. He gets his brace in the first 45, but right before halftime, Josiah Shelp, one of the two, gets a goal in the 46th minute. It says after halftime. Anyway, that's weird. But immediately after halftime, Alan Mabia gets the goal to tie it up. It's now 3-3. And hey, look at the FC Olympia. They take the lead after being down 2-0. Yuda Shimatsu gets a goal in the 55th, but Ian Mejia ties it up, and it is 4-4 now. So the game winner comes from Christopher Iozano in the 79th minute, and that one ends 5-4 to FC Olympia. And then AFC Ann Arbor lose 2-1 to Kalamazoo, where they took AFC Ann Arbor gets a goal early. Trevor Kako gets a goal, but it is 2 goals in the second half. Pierre Sabroso, Sabroso, Sabroso. Yeah. He gets a brace, 65th and 77th to give Kalamazoo a nice little lead. Let's go over to the W League now. Why don't we? And we're going to hit some of these pretty fast. We talked about, or here's River Light getting a 1-0 win over Rochester. That goal coming from Berkeley Minsick. And as River Light take a 1-0 win. Not a whole lot of low scoring affairs in the W League, so that one's nice to see. Speaking of, the California Storm and Oakland Soul draw 2-2 as the Soul take a 1-0 lead from Gianna Riley. But Alexandria Kloss gets a goal to equalize in the 25th, and Sandra Foley gets a goal in the 33rd. After halftime, it's Gianna Riley to come up hero to get her brace for the Soul. 2-2. That one ends. We already mentioned the Annapolis Blues. They break the W League record with over 7,000 people at their match versus the Richmond Ivy. Two big like fan bases, by the way, the Ivy and Annapolis Blues. So that's always fun to see. But the Annapolis Blues get the game winner in the 76th minute from Sophie Thibault, I think is how you pronounce it. So that is how that one ends. It is a 1-0 win in favor of Annapolis. The Southern California Dutch Lions draw 3-3 from AMSGFC. It's just so many letters. It is a 3-3 draw. It's here we go. AMSGFC take a 3-0 lead in the first half just for Southern California to make it 3-1, 3-2. And in the 90th minute, Alexandria Little gets the game drawer to save a point for the Southern California Dutch Lions. Now we see the Hudson Valley Crusaders taking on New Jersey Copa FC, as Copa take a 1-0 win lead and by Kelly De Gitano, maybe. But hey, here come the Crusaders. It is 1-1 from Vivian Akirem. And then Joy Okonye gets a goal to make it 2-1. But Copa is not going to go down that easy. Haley Santiago gets a goal. And the lead from Haley Santiago, again, a quick brace sees Copa go up 3-2. But the Crusaders were not done as Amaya Hill gets a goal. And then Jocelyn Kofi gets the game winner in the 82nd for the Crusaders. FC Olympia taking on the Roadies. Hey, 2 bangers of FC Olympia versus the West Seattle Roadies, by the way. Really in the Junction. 2 bangers. 2-1 win as Olympia get 2 quick goals. Jenny Lackey and Chelsea Wagner gets 2 goals. And then the Roadies get 1 goal back from Lucy Newland. That one ends 2-1. Santa Clara Blue Heat fall 2-1 to Capo SC. Capo, someone tell me. As Capo takes a 1-0 win from Tara Oper. And then Kira Murphy ties it up in the 45th minute. But the game winner comes from Jaden Carrillo in the 58th minute for Capo. Detroit City FC win 2-0 over Midwest United. It is a boring match in the first half, but Hannah Crum gets a goal in the 48th minute, and she gets her brace not long after in the 58th to make that one 2-0, 5-0. What's wrong with me? As Detroit City comes out in a 4-4 effing 2, and the Midwest United comes out and to say it with me, 4-tree. Stockton Cargo get a 2-1 win over the San Francisco Glens. As it was a pretty boring first half, but Maya Beltran gets a goal in the for the Glens. But Malia Evans gets her goal in the 54th for Stockton. And then right in the 90th minute, Alexis Pacheles Paschales, maybe. I'm hoping I'm not pronouncing that wrong. She gets the game winner in the 90th minute. Huge win for Stockton Cargo. Another big match as the Kings Hammer FC Cincinnati win 3-2 over the Indy 11. The Kings Hammer gets a goal from Gabrielle Britt in the 10th minute. Samantha Urbach gets her goal in the 25th. And then, Asa Yamazaki gets her goal for Indy 11 in the 39th minute. But to make it 3-1 was Lauren Flax in the 85th, and in the 88th minute, Olivia Joyce gets the kind of sort of consolation goal for Indy to make it 3-5. And finally, we're going to talk about Southern Soccer Academy versus One Knox, because this South Central division is just absolutely ridiculous. It is so loaded. If you're not watching these matches, you should be. As kind of a shock in Southern Soccer Academy getting an early lead from Alexandria Gibb in the 8th minute. In the 40th minute, she gets her brace. And then Molly Woodridge gets her goal in the 50th minute. One Knox gets the consolation from Delaney Wade in the 64th. But that is a huge shock when it comes to the South Central Division, which I do know a little bit more about because, well, that's what my club is. I'm not going to give you a standings update today. We're going to do standings tomorrow so we can get into a little bit more statty stuff, because we're going to have more time to get into some stats tomorrow because there's not going to be as many matches, because today, June 2nd, we have just one match in League 2 as the Southern California Eagles take on Stars FC. And today in the W League, we only have two matches: Lancaster Inferno taking on Virginia Marauders, and Wake FC taking on NC Courage under 23s. That's what's happening today. There is tomorrow's going to be a big stats day, big standings day, not a whole lot of matches to break down, so we can get into the weeds a little bit. So thank you all so much for listening. I appreciate you all, and see ya.
Thank you for watching another episode of the USL Show.
The USL Show is now proudly part of the Protagonist podcast family. Please go to protagonistsoccer.com to check out more work. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see everyone again next time.